There comes a moment in every person's life when the easy road beckons like a warm fire on a cold night. The voices of convenience whisper, "Take it easy, you deserve comfort, you've done enough." Yet deep inside the soul, another voice calls. It is quiet, but it is strong. It calls us to rise, to stand firm, to choose the narrow path of discipline over the wide road of indulgence. And that choice has a cost. It always has a cost, but oh, the reward is far greater than the price. Discipline is not glamorous. It rarely receives applause. No one cheers when you wake up before the sun to prepare for the day. No one takes pictures of you turning down the distractions that everyone else embraces. But discipline is the secret fire that shapes the human spirit. It is the hammer that forges character. It is the quiet hand that lifts you from mediocrity to greatness. Without discipline, dreams remain distant shadows. With discipline, those shadows take on form and substance and become reality. People will tell you that discipline is too hard, that sacrifice is outdated, that you can live life on your own terms without boundaries and still find fulfillment. But history, experience, and the testimony of every person who has achieved something meaningful shout a different truth. Freedom is not found in doing whatever you want. Freedom is found in mastering yourself. The cost of discipline may seem heavy at first, but the cost of regret is heavier still. One lasts for a moment, the other lingers for a lifetime. Look at the athletes who push their bodies beyond their limits. Look at the leaders who spend long hours learning, planning, and serving. Look at the parents who rise early and work late to provide for their families. None of them arrives at success by accident. Each one pays the price. They give up something today to gain something tomorrow. And though their sacrifices may be invisible to the world, they are building a foundation that no storm can destroy. Discipline demands saying no when your heart says yes to comfort. It means refusing shortcuts when integrity calls for the long way around. It means choosing focus when distractions scream for your attention. It may cost you sleep, entertainment, popularity, or even relationships that hold you back. But every no you speak to weakness is a louder yes, to strength, to purpose, to destiny. Some fear discipline because they think it steals joy. But discipline, rightly embraced, is not a thief. It is an investor. Every disciplined choice is a seed planted in the soil of your future. Every seed of sacrifice grows into a harvest of freedom, confidence, and power. Where others drift like leaves on the wind, you will stand like a tree rooted deep in the ground. Where others crumble under pressure, you will rise with resilience. The cost of discipline brings the wealth of character. There will be days when your effort feels invisible, when progress feels too slow, when the weight of responsibility seems to crush your shoulders. Those are the days when discipline does its greatest work. In the hidden places, it shapes you. In the silent hours, it builds strength you didn't know you had. On the other side of perseverance is transformation. On the other side of consistency is greatness. Do not believe the lie that discipline is only for the naturally strong or the exceptionally gifted. Discipline is not a talent. It is a decision. Every day you have the power to choose it. Every morning you can begin again. And each time you choose discipline, even in the smallest act, you are carving the path toward your future. Small decisions compound, daily habits shape destiny, and though the cost of each choice may feel small, the reward over time is immeasurable. When you embrace discipline, you will stand apart. Some will misunderstand you, some will mock you. Some will even resent your commitment because it reminds them of their own neglected potential. But hold fast. You are not called to live by the opinions of others. You are called to live by the conviction that there is more inside you than you have yet seen. And discipline is the key that unlocks it. Think of the difference between a river and a flood. A flood spreads everywhere, shallow and destructive. A river, channeled and disciplined, cuts valleys, powers cities, and sustains life. Your energy, your time, Your gifts without discipline, they scatter and evaporate. With discipline, they flow with power and purpose, carving a legacy that endures. Yes, the cost of discipline is real. It will demand early mornings, late nights, and hard choices. It will test your patience and your endurance. It will confront your excuses and challenge your comfort zones. But every price you pay now saves you from a heavier price later. The discipline you choose today will spare you the regret you might otherwise carry tomorrow. Do not wait for the perfect moment to begin. Do not wait until you feel motivated. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is steadfast. Begin with one choice, one step, one habit. Guard your mind, control your tongue, direct your time, strengthen your body, focus your energy. And soon, you will look back and realize that the cost you once feared has become the gift you now cherish. You are not alone on this journey. Others have walked this path before you. They have paid the price and found the reward. They testify that discipline does not destroy life. It refines it. It takes your raw potential and shapes it into something worthy of your highest calling. And as you walk, you inspire others to rise, to choose to change. Your discipline becomes their hope. There will be moments of failure, of falling short. Do not let them define you. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about persistence. When you stumble, get up. When you falter, start again. Every restart is a victory. Every renewed commitment strengthens your resolve. In time, the very habits that once felt like a burden will become your source of freedom. The cost of discipline is the price of leadership, of integrity, of greatness. It is the price of becoming who you were meant to be. No one can pay it for you, but no one can take from you the reward once you have paid it. That reward is not only success in the world's eyes, but peace in your own heart. Knowing you gave your best, you stood firm, you walked the narrow road and found life on the other side. Discipline requires consistent sacrifice and self-control, but it transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. It is the quiet, unseen work that separates those who wish from those who achieve. When you embrace discipline, you step into a process of refining your habits, your mindset, and your daily actions until they align with your highest goals. This consistency does not happen by chance. It is built choice by choice, decision by decision, day after day. Each time you choose discipline over convenience, you are strengthening a muscle that will carry you further than talent or luck ever could. Sacrifice is not about losing something valuable. It is about trading something small and temporary for something larger and lasting. Waking up earlier, practicing longer, preparing better, and saying no to distractions are sacrifices that look minor to the outside world, but are the foundation of greatness. Self-control is the fuel of this process. It means mastering impulses, emotions, and desires that might otherwise sabotage progress. Without self-control, ambition fades into procrastination and potential withers under temptation. With self-control, every effort becomes intentional. The hours you invest, the skills you develop, the focus you maintain, all of it compounds into something powerful. It is not glamorous to be consistent. Few will applaud the early mornings, the repeated practice, the daily discipline. Yet, over time, these hidden investments reveal their power. Ordinary actions, performed with extraordinary consistency, create breakthroughs that seem miraculous to others, but are simply the result of dedication. Every great achievement is built on countless small acts of discipline. Athletes who win championships, leaders who build organizations, artists who create masterpieces, and individuals who transform their lives all have one thing in common. They persist in the quiet work when no one is watching. They sacrifice short-term ease for long-term excellence. They exercise self-control even when it feels uncomfortable or unfair. And in doing so, they elevate themselves beyond average effort to extraordinary outcomes. What discipline does is convert potential into reality. It takes the raw materials of your talent, your time, and your energy, and molds them into something purposeful. Each disciplined action may seem insignificant, but together they form a pattern of excellence that cannot be ignored. This transformation does not happen overnight, but it does happen inevitably when you commit to consistency. Discipline and self-control are not chains that hold you back, they are wings that lift you higher. They create the structure within which your greatness can flourish. In the end, the sacrifices you make and the self-control you practice become the very tools that turn your ordinary efforts into extraordinary results. The price of discipline today prevents the heavier cost of regret tomorrow. Every choice you make carries a consequence, and discipline is the act of choosing your future over your present comfort. When you wake up early to work toward your goals, when you deny yourself distractions that others indulge in, when you persist in doing what is hard but necessary, you are paying a price. In the moment, it may feel inconvenient, lonely, or tiring, but it is an investment. That investment compounds over time into skills, character, and opportunities. The alternative, choosing ease and avoiding effort, feels good immediately but accumulates a hidden debt that eventually shows up as lost chances, diminished confidence, and unfulfilled potential. Regret is not just a passing feeling, it is a weight that lingers. It whispers of what could have been, of doors that closed because you did not act, of moments wasted on distractions instead of purpose. That weight is far heavier than the discomfort of discipline. Discipline asks you for temporary sacrifice. Regret demands a lifetime of wondering what if. By embracing discipline today, you protect yourself from those questions tomorrow. You create a future where you can stand proud of the choices you made, knowing you gave your best and didn't shrink from the challenge. When you practice discipline now, you are shaping a path that leads to freedom later. Freedom from financial stress, from poor health, from broken commitments, from a restless spirit that knows it fell short of its potential. Each act of discipline is like a brick laid in a wall of protection against regret. Every time you choose to work instead of procrastinate, to study instead of scroll, to exercise instead of lounge, you are investing in a future self who will thank you. That self will be stronger, wiser, more capable, and more confident because you bore the cost today. People who look effortless in their success have paid this price over and over again. They have sacrificed entertainment for education, convenience for growth, and comfort for mastery. They are not lucky, they are disciplined. Their present ease is built on their past effort. The same is possible for anyone willing to choose discipline now. The cost of discipline may be high, but it is temporary. The cost of regret is hidden, but it is permanent. You can endure discomfort for a season to build a life you are proud of. Or you can seek ease today and carry the burden of missed opportunities tomorrow. Every day you are given the chance to choose which price you will pay. Discipline is the price that leads to fulfillment, strength, and peace. Regret is the price that leads to frustration, weakness, and emptiness. Choosing discipline now is choosing a life where you do not have to look back with sorrow, but can look forward with pride and gratitude. Discipline is not about perfection, it's about persistence and daily choices that shape destiny. Many people believe they cannot be disciplined because they fall short or fail from time to time, but true discipline is not a flawless streak of success. It is the willingness to get up after you've stumbled, to recommit after you've lost focus, and to keep moving forward despite setbacks. Perfection demands that you never make a mistake. Discipline understands that mistakes are part of growth and uses them as fuel for improvement. It is persistence showing up again and again, even when motivation fades, even when no one notices, even when results seem slow, that builds strength of character and a future of excellence. Every day presents a crossroads where your choices either bring you closer to your goals or push you further away. These choices are often small and seem insignificant. Whether you wake up on time, whether you keep your promise, whether you follow through on your plan or delay it for another day. Yet these small decisions accumulate. Like drops of water carving a stone, they shape your habits, your mindset, and ultimately your destiny. A single day of effort may not seem to change much, but persistence over weeks, months, and years transforms everything. This is why discipline cannot be tied to perfection. If you wait until you can be flawless to start, you will never begin. If you stop because you slipped, you will never finish. Discipline thrives on the courage to continue despite imperfection. Think of a sculptor working on a block of marble. Each strike of the chisel might seem minor, but taken together they reveal a masterpiece. Persistence in daily choices is the chisel that reveals your best self. Some days the progress is clear, other days it feels like nothing is changing, but each disciplined choice leaves its mark. Over time, the habits you form through persistence become automatic, freeing your energy for even greater growth. This is how destiny is shaped, not by one dramatic moment of perfection, but by countless ordinary acts of staying the course. When you release the pressure of perfection, you give yourself room to grow. You begin to see discipline not as punishment, but as a process of refinement. You stop judging yourself for every slip and start valuing your capacity to start again. That ability to recommit after a failure is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. It is the heartbeat of discipline and the engine of transformation. Each time you persist, you strengthen your resilience, your self-trust, and your vision for the future. These daily choices, multiplied over time, carve a path of purpose and possibility far greater than anything perfection could produce. Saying no to distractions is saying yes to purpose, growth, and lasting freedom. Every moment of your day is a vote for the life you want to create. When you give your time and energy to trivial things, you dilute your power to build something meaningful. Distractions are everywhere, screens that never stop, conversations that lead nowhere, habits that feel harmless but slowly drain your focus. They promise quick pleasure and instant relief, but in reality, they steal your attention and scatter your potential. Each time you say no to them, you reclaim a piece of your life. You draw a line in the sand and declare that your dreams and goals are worth more than fleeting entertainment or shallow validation. This is not about living a joyless life. It is about living an intentional one. Saying no is an act of self-respect. It acknowledges that your time is finite and your energy precious. When you refuse distractions, you create space for focus, creativity, and deep work. You give your mind room to think, your heart room to feel, and your spirit room to grow. You begin to experience the freedom that comes from self-mastery rather than from indulgence. In that freedom, you find clarity. In that clarity, you find direction. And in that direction, you find the strength to keep moving forward even when things are difficult. Growth requires deliberate attention. Seeds do not sprout when scattered on a busy street. They sprout when planted in good soil and protected from weeds. Your goals are no different. They need time, care, and undivided focus to grow. When you continually allow distractions to crowd your life, you are letting weeds choke your future harvest. Saying no to those weeds is not easy at first, but over time it becomes empowering. Each no strengthens your resolve, sharpens your focus, and accelerates your growth. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, and the more energy you can channel into your real priorities. Lasting freedom is not the absence of discipline, but the fruit of it. People often confuse freedom with doing whatever they want at any moment. But that kind of freedom quickly becomes a prison of scattered attention and wasted years. True freedom is the ability to direct your life toward what matters most. It is having the power to pursue your highest purpose without being dragged down by every shiny distraction. Saying no to distractions is saying yes to that power. It is saying yes to living deliberately rather than drifting aimlessly. It is saying yes to a life of depth instead of a life of noise. Each refusal builds a stronger foundation for your goals, a clearer path for your future, and a more profound sense of control over your destiny. True freedom and greatness are built on the foundation of disciplined habits and focused action. Every great life is constructed one small choice at a time, like bricks laid carefully to form a sturdy structure. Habits are those bricks. They may seem insignificant in the moment: waking up early, exercising, studying, practicing your craft, saving a small amount of money, being kind when it's hard, but over time they form unshakable walls of character and success. Without disciplined habits, even the most brilliant ideas crumble because there is no structure to hold them up. With disciplined habits, even ordinary people achieve extraordinary things because they have built a system of actions that supports their vision. Focused action is what gives those habits direction. You can have routines, but if they're scattered and aimless, they won't take you far. Focused action means aligning your habits with a clear purpose and working toward it with intention every single day. It means deciding what matters most and devoting your best time and energy to it. It's the difference between a flood and a river. A flood spreads everywhere, shallow and destructive. A river, channeled and disciplined, cuts valleys, powers cities, and sustains life. When your habits are guided by focus, your energy flows like a river, carving a path of impact and legacy. Freedom may sound like doing whatever you please, but real freedom comes from the stability and strength you gain through discipline. When you develop habits of health, you're free from sickness holding you back. When you build habits of financial responsibility, you're free from debt and constant stress. When you cultivate habits of self-control, you're free from the chains of impulsive decisions. Each disciplined habit, it is not a restriction, but a tool that expands your capacity to live fully and authentically. This is the paradox of discipline. What feels like sacrifice today becomes liberation tomorrow. Greatness also grows from the quiet, consistent acts no one sees. People often look at someone successful and imagine they leapt there overnight. But what they don't see are the years of disciplined habits and focused action. They don't see the hours of practice before dawn, the discipline of turning down distractions, the steady persistence when results were invisible. Yet all of that hidden work is what builds the visible outcome. You cannot separate greatness from discipline any more than you can separate a harvest from planting and watering. When you commit to disciplined habits and focused action, you take control of your future. You stop living by chance and start living by choice. Each day you follow your habits is a step toward freedom, a step toward strength, and a step toward greatness. This foundation will carry you through setbacks, disappointments, and doubts, because it is built not on fleeting motivation, but on a daily commitment to grow. Over time, that commitment transforms you, and the freedom and greatness you once dreamed of become your reality. Discipline is not a punishment, it is the pathway to the life you are meant to live. Every sacrifice, every act of self-control, every moment you say no to distraction and yes to focus is shaping your future in ways you cannot yet see. It spares you the weight of regret, strengthens your character, and transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. It turns persistence into progress, habits into freedom, and focus into greatness. Discipline is the quiet force that allows you to rise above the noise, to choose purpose over ease, and to build a life of meaning rather than a life of missed opportunities. It is not easy, but it is worth every ounce of effort. Choose discipline now, and you will look back with gratitude instead of regret, with fulfillment instead of frustration, with freedom instead of limitation. Your destiny is not built by chance but by choice, and the choices you make today are carving the life you will live tomorrow. The cost of discipline is real, but the reward is freedom, strength, and greatness. And that is a price worth paying.